Hey there, in this video we're going to be converting this Daiwa Tatula 80TW into a BFS reel using this Gomexus spool and adding a drag clicker. And honestly, the Gomexus is pretty much a drop-in, so if it wasn't for my desire to have a clicking drag on this reel, this will be a really straightforward process. So we're going to go through this step by step, show you tools you need. We'll probably do a little bit of lubing while we're in there. This is really smooth already. Might as well make sure it's fully lubricated and ready for the season. Let's jump right to it. 10mm wrench to remove this bolt right here once we get into it. A little paintbrush to paint the lube on. So for lube, I've got this grease that we're going to use for the gears. We're going to use the Super Lube synthetic oil, ISO 100, for all the moving parts other than the gears. And then for the spool bearings, we're going to use the 3-in-1 oil. All the other bearings will hit with the Super Lube 100. So let's get into this. I like to start just sort of taking the handle apart first. We're just going to lay these out pretty much in order that we use them. Take this 10mm wrench. This should be reverse threaded. So you can see it's righty-loosey instead of righty-tighty. Okay, now when you get to this point, there's springs underneath this piece right here. So you kind of want to just hold on to this. Take that off, take the handle off, and then gradually take this off. And the spring stayed in there, so we're just going to leave it in there. Now this little nut should also come off. So same thing, it's reverse threaded. See this washer right here? We'll just put it back on for now. Put that there. See if we can take this whole assembly off. Right like that. So that's in order. Now that we have this done, we can get into the other side. This is spring loaded, but it should just stay in there. So that comes off right like that. We will oil this bearing here at the end. Spool comes out. Now let's just open up the Gomexus since we got that spool out right now. See the difference between the spools, right? Fairly obvious, I think. I can feel the weight difference. Let's see what the actual weight difference is. Okay, so this is the stock spool. Stock spool comes in right at 15 grams. Gomexus BFS spool, 6.6 grams. Holy moly. That's a big savings. It's like almost 8.5 grams. Okay, now on this reel, this screw right here is actually, get a longer screwdriver. This one is just a screw. And I'm trying to take these out kind of in order as well. See this hole right here? This wrench goes down in this hole to access this bolt. See if these are the same size or not. They look to be the same, so. Okay, now take this out this way. Okay, now see the spool, this bushing came out. I really didn't want it to, but it did. So we'll put that off to the side. It's probably smart to take these springs off as well, just so they don't get lost as I'm going through some of this. Go. Hopefully caught that on video, but we're trying to take this off like this. And that brings us into the drag clicker. Sounds pretty simple. I mean, this is, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. This isn't something I do all the time either. Here's our drag clicker kit. This will be the piece that goes down on the bottom. It's got the tape here. Then we'll put our drag washer in. See the difference in the way they're designed. Then this piece will go on, and then we'll put this on top. Okay, I forgot one other thing you need, which is a little bit of alcohol. I just happen to have denatured alcohol, so I'm gonna put a little bit of this on here. And all you're doing with this is you just want to clean. You want to clean where we're going to stick this. See how there's, can you see that little ring right there of grease and oil? This is a brand new reel. If you're doing this to a reel that you've been using, it might be a little bit dirtier. We just want to make sure that this is like squeaky clean, brand new clean. Make sure that that thing sticks on here really well. Okay. I think I'm actually going to hit it one more time just to make sure. I think I got it, but I don't want to do this twice, you know what I mean? Don't want to go through this twice. So. Now, basically all we have to do is we take this off. It's a little adhesive backing. Just pull that off. And this fits right on there. I'm just going to press it down. You can see there's not a whole bunch of room for it to go, but you want to make sure that it doesn't have room to actually, you know, like move around. Now, next thing we want to do, we're going to do the drag washer, and you want to lube the drag washer a little bit because you want it to slip it first. If it was all dry, it would be like you wouldn't have a smooth drag. I mean, you know you want a smooth drag, right? Need a little bit more. A little bit more, not a lot. Okay, and then this, so if you look at this piece, it's sort of keyed to line up with this. Hey there, future editing Aaron coming to you. I'm about ready to make a mistake in this video. So that green piece that I'm putting on next, it should actually be the last piece on, and the clicker piece needs to be underneath it. Watch till the end of the video and you'll see the difference that it makes. So it just fits on there one way. And then this piece, there's this little point that sticks down. It has to line up with this slot, and it's also keyed, so it should line up exactly where it's supposed to. Just like that. Now I'm grabbing the outer housing. I just want to push this bushing out. See this bushing? It goes into these two little slots right here. It's also keyed. So everything should line up fairly well. See how that sits nice and flush there? That's where it pushes in. It also holds the whole assembly in place. And then because this was lubricated, I'm just going to add a little bit of lube there. The other thing I'm going to do is, although this is really nice and smooth from the factory, there's really no lube on the gears. So we're just painting a little bit on here. And typically reels from the factory are either over lubed or under lubed. Now we just put it back together. I mean, it's, I don't want to say it's simple, but it's not that bad. Just gotta put these springs back on here. Got those springs. Okie dokie, let's put this back on first. This bearing back in while we have it out. Just hit it with a little bit of oil. The other little bearing seal. Put it down there like that. Now with this piece, you just want to, don't force it on. And the thread should catch. And remember, it's reverse threaded, so if you're like me, sometimes it's hard to get out of your mind. We're just going to tighten this down as far as we can. I've got my finger inside here just holding the spool. Feel it moving a little bit. It should be tight enough. Then we're going to take the drag star and see the spring fits into that little ring right there. Should be good. Take the handle. We actually need to tighten that. We need to tighten this down a little bit more. Okay. Now let's put the screws back in this side. I don't want to completely tighten them up, I just want to get them in there. Tighten this one down. This little guy. I might try to put him in my hand first. Okay, there's that. Tighten that one down. Tighten that one down. Okay, the other thing I want to do is I'm just going to pull out take off the cap. I should have done this before I put the drag star on, it's a little bit easier. But it's focused on reassembly and not necessarily on lubricating. if you pull this off, there's a bearing right in here. So I just want to hit that bearing real quick. Okay. Now, let's get this back on here. That's better. Put the handle on there. Put the handle on. Put the nut on. Same thing, make sure you get it on there square. We don't want to cross thread it. Just gentle. It's reverse threaded. So lefty tighty in this case. And we'll put the... Now this piece that goes back on, sometimes you have to adjust the way this fits on, so we'll see how close I got it. Oh, looks like I might have nailed it. I might have nailed it. It might be perfect. And then with the new spool, so I'm just going to put a drop here and put a drop here on this side. It's just easier to oil the bottom of the shaft than it is to... See, that slides right in. Boy, did that slide in nice. And then there's another bearing right here. There we go. Starting to worry a little bit. I'm like, oh, what do I do? Tighten that up. Apologize for any clips where we missed. It's kind of hard to... Still feels nice and smooth. There it goes. I was a little worried at first, so it was a little tight and clunky feeling. I tell you what, that is a very loud. It's a very, I don't know if you can see my hand shaking. It's a very positive sounding drag clicker, but it's not harsh sounding. It did take a couple rotations to get it moving though. I like the way it sounds. I don't know, I think the reel's even smoother now. I think it's even smoother. One other spot I want to hit, this worm gear up here in the front. Just hit it with a little bit of oil. I guess some people like to put grease on that, but there we go. Feels pretty good. I don't know what the total elapsed time was. I think it was less than, it was probably less than 25 minutes start to finish to do the entire thing. Okay, so that's all there is to it. I mean, that was, even taking the time walking through explaining it, that was less than 25 minutes total elapsed time. That included running out to grab, you know, and measure the spool, running out to grab the alcohol. This really isn't that difficult to do, especially on a brand new reel. Now, I was a little nervous, and then when I went to go first listen to the drag, I'm like, oh no, what did I do? Did I screw this reel up? But it's got a very, it's almost a muted sounding drag. It's not like the high pitch of some of the other, like here's the Gomexus stock drag. And so this one, the teeth aren't as fine. So it's definitely a different sound. So here's see how much easier this is to move. And you can hear the difference in the drag probably. I mean, it's still different than the Gomexus, obviously. And I do think smaller gears would be better, but excuse the mess, because I'm working on improving or at least adding to my video area. So I actually don't know how much of the tools and stuff is in the screen, but you know, getting this in the right way. First of all, it's much smoother drag wise. It doesn't take as much force to get it going. I do think that this is going to be just fine. I'm not as concerned about it, and you can hear that the sound is not quite as sort of harsh and severe. This is an extremely smooth reel, and I can't wait to fish it. So Gomexus is the manufacturer of the spool. I did another video, I'll link that here at the end, of unboxing this, sort of the details behind all of it. But I think I'm all in on this for like 156 bucks to get essentially a Tatula BFS, and the conversion is not that tough. Maybe at some point I'll do a full video on maintenance and lubes. You know, everything that I've learned from other guys and on Facebook for the most part. There's one guy named Robert who's really big into the vintage Abu reels, but he has essentially a real maintenance business, and these are the lubes that he recommends. They're very inexpensive compared to some of the specialty stuff, like glitch oil and stuff like that. These are the oils and the lubes that he recommends. So I'll link all those below as well. I'm curious to see how this casts, but again, for conversion wise, I'm very happy with the result. Even if I was a little nervous to completely tear apart a brand new reel. If I can do it, you can do it too. So thanks for watching. I'll see you next time. Oh, hey. So I just realized I forgot a couple oil points. This Tatula, this has bushings in the handle, but I'm going to lube it anyway. Definitely with bearings, you want to hit these, but I tell you, it helps even with bushings though, in my opinion. I don't know if that's what the experts recommend or not, but oh, and one other tip. See, if you watch to the end, you get a couple of these little things I forgot to mention. The mat that I use, if you're watching the video, I have a blue mat on my desk. I put down a white paper towel just so it's a lot easier to see all of the stuff when I drop things. Maybe you'll be perfect and you won't drop anything, but for me, I normally drop something, and the goal is hopefully I can keep it on the mat and not falling on the floor. So again, thanks again. I'm done now. See you next time.